Hello, hello, hello. My name is Sam Thompson. I'm an Edinburgh tour guide and I've been a tour guide for about 24 years. And tonight we're going to have a little walk through the old town, have a look at some of the buildings around us. Now, let's just turn that camera around there. So I'm starting at the top, but up at the castle. We've got Robert the Bruce's statue here. At the door you've got the motto, Nemo me impune licet, no one touches me with impunity. Then you've got the lion rampant. And then we have William Wallace. This is the drawbridge. We've got this big ditch. You'll find this in a lot of castles around Scotland. They have these ditches at the front of them. Right, let's just take a little walk off. Now, if you're here in August, there's usually a horseshoe-shaped set of stands up for the Edinburgh military tattoo. Every year it's different. I'm just going to take us over to the side so you can have a little look over. Now, the building that's lit up and it looks a bit ghostly, that's George Heriot's school. George Heriot was jeweller to James VI. He was moneylender to the king. And when he died, he didn't have any children, so he left money for a school to be built for the orphan sons of the freemen of Edinburgh. And they were able to build Heriot's. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's Hogwarts. Now, we're looking down at the grass market below us. The road just underneath us, that's Johnson Terrace. The dark hill in the distance, that's Arthur's Seat, and then you can just see a bit of Salisbury Crags. But yeah, as we come round, you can see the castle. That's the rock just coming into view. And then we've got Edinburgh Castle. So this time of year you can come onto the Esplanade. That's quite nice. You get the great views during the day as well. I'm glad you're enjoying it. The chat doesn't seem to be working at the moment, but anyway, we'll soon be off the Esplanade and we'll be able to see more. Those white buildings just in front of us here, white buildings, they have a sort of red coloured roof. That's Ramsay Garden. Built around a building from the 1700s called Goose Pie Lodge, because it looks like a goose pie, or it just looks like a pie. Anyway, so just in front of us you can see a low building. That's the old reservoir to the city. So they used hollowed out tree trunks, lead pipes to bring water from the hills around us using gravity to get it up to this point, and then they would turn the water supply on and off to the wellheads further down the hill. And that was from the 1600s. It's now the tartan weaving centre or weaving mill. It's a massive tourist trap. I guarantee if you go in there you're coming out with bags. So you've been warned. Right, I'm just having a wee look because I'm not quite sure what's happening with there. Okay, right. Cannonball House. It's called Cannonball House because there's actually two cannonballs embedded in the wall, and those are marking the gravitational height for the water to the reservoir. And this is Castle Hill. It's exactly what it is, the hill to the castle. So no surprises in the naming. Yeah, the naming patterns here are quite good. They tell you what you're looking at, who lived there, what was carried out there. So lots of choices of places to eat here. And this is the Scotch Whisky Experience. It's an old school. It used to be a school, but now you can go on a little journey through the production of whisky and then get to taste it. And this is the Camera Obscura. It's the world of illusion. Had been an observatory and all sorts of things, but you can spend hours in here. And up at the top, that's where the Camera Obscura is, and you get fantastic views up and down the Royal Mile from up there. Now the Royal Mile goes from the castle at the top behind us all the way to the palace at the bottom. And that's where you get the name. It's 1 mile, 106 yards between two royal residents. So here we can see Skinner's Close. So Close, C-L-O-S-E. A close was a dead end. You start at the top, you come in, and then you have to come back out the same way. So you'll see that word a lot in place names here. Now this is, or was the Tolbooth Highland Kirk of St John. It's now called the Hub. So it's a former church, massive steeple, but I love Jolly's Close. It's just so pretty. So that's, as you can see, it is an actual close. You go in and you come to the staircase which takes you upstairs. That's basically what a close was all about. I'm not convinced the chat's working. Oh dear. Anyway, I'll just let you see the street names. I'll just come over here for a second. Oh, that'll be the wind. So there you can see it says the Royal Mile, and then you have Castle Hill. Hi Sue. Right, I'm glad it is working because I wasn't convinced. Oh no. Right. Okay. Now this is an actual road, but because of the way it's laid out, a lot of people think that you can walk all over it, but we do have traffic, so just bear that in mind if you ever happen to be here. Now down here, this is the Upper Bow, leading to Victoria Street, you can see there, and the West Bow. There's the Upper Bow. So this was the main way up to the castle from the west. Oh my, that wind is cold. Oh, don't worry about coming in late. I just thought it'd be nice to come out and see the place tonight because it isn't raining. Just ahead of us, you've got Bertie's restaurant and bar. And they make proper fish and chips, whatever that is. I'm not sure what makes it proper. It is very windy. But yeah. So we've got Bertie's. This is Victoria Street just below us here. And we're on Victoria Terrace. So this was a later addition. They cut through all the closes and things and put this street in, and it was to make it easier for people to get from the Grassmarket to the castle and up to George IV Bridge. So the shapes here have changed over the centuries. Not so many outdoor seating at the moment because it's February, but in the summer this is really busy. I'm thinking we're doing okay signal wise. Let me see. Right. So if we were to follow this round, it'd take you to the Scottish Genealogy Society. Now here, you can see Herets again. We're looking down into the Grassmarket, and almost in the centre of the picture is the wellhead, where people used to collect their water and then take it up to their properties. And then you can see the orange building. And the one coming into view, it's really difficult to see. There's a tiny little ledge there, and that's the pigeon lofts. The cheapest and easiest form of meat was pigeon. So yeah, that's what the poor people had to eat. And then if we look just around the building there in the distance, you can see a kind of lit up steeple. That's the old Royal Infirmary. We've seen that before as we've wandered about. So yeah. It's so nice it being quiet. Get in and have a look around. So this is actually built on several arches. If you walk down Victoria Street, you can look through some of the windows and still see the arches. Right, so I'm just going to take us back up into the Royal Mile because I'm not convinced the signal will hold if I go through all that scaffolding ahead. But just before I do, if we look down here, this is where the road used to turn and then go uphill. So the stairs here were added in the 1800s. Before that point it was just a very, very steep street. Oh, there's the wind again. And it's probably, a lot of people think there's underground city here, and there isn't. If you're in the valley, you're looking up at the whole thing. Oops, sorry about the noise of the wind there. And we can't quite, it's too dark to see the top of the church. That's the hub. Oh dear, it's really windy. Now, Milnes Court across the road where these people are just going, that has a through gang. You come in at the top, you can go all the way out at the bottom, and it's a lovely little courtyard to go in and have a look around. Oops. Where we are is the Lawn Market. So we've come off the Castle Hill and went into the Lawn Market. Lawn Market's a corruption of Land Market. So everything produced on the land was sold here. And every Wednesday there was a linen market. Let's get across the road. Now these horrible things are so they can close the street off and pedestrianise it. They're not pretty. No, I can't take you in here because the signal will drop. But you've a lovely little tiny little pub down there called the Jolly Judge. So if you do come to Edinburgh, you have to look around. Go down the closes. This is a front staircase. They were very common. They kept pigs and poultry at the front of the buildings and then sheep and cattle at the back. Now this is Gladstone's land. That's a red kite, the golden bird, and it's got a rat in its claws. You'd encourage birds of prey to come in to deal with the rodents. Now you've got these lovely wooden shutters with small panes of handmade glass. That's typical of the old town. You'd open the shutters, to let the fresh air in, but you'd also let your rubbish out. You'd shout guardedly, look out for the water, and then pour it into the street. You were supposed to come down your staircase, pour it into the gutter, but everybody just threw it out the windows. So yeah, you can imagine. You could smell the city from a 12-mile radius. Now you can see there's lots of shops. It is a very touristy area. Shops are not unusual. In the old town, the shops were on the ground floor and then the people lived above. So this is a century-old thing. Gladstone's land itself is owned by the National Trust, so you can actually go in there and you see different periods of time. And on the ground floor now there's an ice cream shop and coffee shop. Now the reason they did the ice cream shop was because there used to be a dairy there, so it's along those lines. It's keeping in with a theme, and it's I quite like it. So here we've got Lady Stairs House. It's actually the Writers' Museum. Robert Burns, Robert Louis Stevenson, Sir Walter Scott. It's free to visit. Built in 1622, it was remodelled 1897. And then we've got the back of Gladstone's land here. One of the lights. Gladstone's land, there's been a wooden structure since 1501 and it was stone by about 1550. And then it's been remodelled over the centuries. There we go, hopefully we don't lose a signal there. Now across the road you can see it says Deacon House Cafe. That's where Deacon Brodie lived. Now where the cafe is, their kitchen dates back to the 1420s. So quite a lot of the basements in this area, this part of the Royal Mile, date from the 1400s. Now, Deacon Brodie's Tavern, we saw the arches at Gladstone's Land, those ones haven't been filled in. I'll just come over here so we can stand back a bit and look at it. So as you look at Deacon Brodie's Tavern, you can see you've got the arches there and there, but they've got windows. So over time they've turned that into an indoor space rather than an open space within the arch. Now this is the head office of the Bank of Scotland. The Bank of Scotland was founded in 1695 by an Englishman, but it's okay because the year before the Bank of England was founded by a Scot, so we don't mind. Just round the corner there's actually a museum all about banking. We're quite lucky here, most of the museums are free. Now that's the Midlothian County building, it's now the French Institute. That used to be where you would births, deaths, marriages. And if you got married there, you would come out the back door because you've got St Giles just there and you could pose to get your pictures taken. And nobody had to know that you got married in a registrar office. Now this is David Hume. He was a philosopher, part of the Enlightenment. It was very fashionable for statues to be in sort of Roman garb. Way too cold for that kind of dress here, but anyway. And you can see his toe is very shiny. There is an urban myth, if you rub it, it gives you knowledge. Don't rub it, it doesn't work. This is the High Court of Justiciary. So this is where criminal cases take place, and you sometimes see it on the news. So St Giles, it is known as St Giles Cathedral, but it's not actually a cathedral, it's the High Kirk, the High Church. You have the statue of the 5th Duke of Buccleuch, the Marquess of Queensberry. The Buccleuch family were one of the largest landowners in Scotland. It was said you could walk from one side of the country to the other without coming off their land. Well, I can hear music. There must be a busker somewhere, I just can't see him. So there's lots of different shops and places to eat along the Royal Mile. We've got hotels, there's all sorts of accommodation as well. We've got those apart hotels and things like that now. Just to show you how steep this ridge is that we're walking on. We're actually looking downhill, and the light that you're seeing is actually below pavement level. That's Byers Close. I'm definitely hearing somebody playing. So this is Advocates Close, but the signal doesn't always stay with me when I go down here, so I am going to go down and then I'll come back out. So if it does disappear, just stay there and it'll come back on. It's just because you get this fantastic view. As you come down the close, the stairs are really worn. And then we have these dates, 1590. And there you go again, 1590. And then we're looking straight at the Scott Monument and the George in Newtown. And we can't see the bottom of the steps from here. Just to let you see how steep the ridge is that we're on. Right, we're just going to go back up and hope we'll stay. There, hopefully that's okay and you're back if you did disappear. Old Town Chambers. It's like a hotel, and you also have a restaurant. I think there's a bar as well. I can hear him. Oh, there he is. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things over here. You can probably hear the man playing the guitar now. So this is the Market Cross, the Market Cross. It's where royal proclamations are read 3 days later than London. At the top there is a unicorn. You've got the Harp of Ireland there. This is the King's shield there. Then we've got Scotland. Edinburgh's coat of arms up here. England just at the side. I'll show you the other ones once maybe that group's had time to move on. But yes, this is James Braidwood. He founded the first municipal fire service in Britain, and it was so successful here he took the idea down to London where he set up the London Fire Brigade. Just because it is a really pretty street. This is a close, as you can see, steps downhill. I just think it's brilliant. It's just lovely. So this is Barry's Close. Unfortunately, I can't take you down because I would lose you signal-wise. And across the road, that's the city chambers. Right, the flag's not fully up. Anyway, you've got the coat of arms of the University of Edinburgh. Then the one that's in the dark here, that's the Cannon Gate, because it was a separate borough, separate town. And then you have Leith, our port, Persevere. Hi Franklin. Now I'm just going to hopefully not get in trouble because of the music. Because it's not my fault. That's the one problem with live streaming. You're not in control of the music. Right. I just love these lights, although that one there's broken. It's just beautiful, isn't it? And then you have the city chambers, which is like the mayor's office. So we don't have a mayor, we call him a Lord Provost here. Now, originally this was built to get the merchants off the street. But, you know, if you trade in the street and it's the main road and somebody owes you money, they'll have to stop when they go by you. But if you're in a building, they can walk past as often as they like. That's Alexander the Great and his horse Bucephalus. Oh, bright light, sorry. So the statue just in front of us, that's Adam Smith. He was an economist, he wrote A Wealth of Nations. He died in the Cannon Gate at the bottom end of the Royal Mile. And the Market Cross just behind him there, in St Giles. Now here we've got Old Fish Market Close. It was described as a stinking ravine, as you can imagine. Yeah. But from here you can still see how steep the ridge is that the old town's built on. Oh, there's another busker. Now just ahead of us, that structure is another wellhead. So we had these wellheads dotted all the way down the Royal Mile and in the Grass Market. So let you see. So the water would come out there, and then on the other side. Not happy. So Old Assembly Close is where the old assembly rooms were. So assemblies were like gatherings, dances. And then we have a new Assembly Close, and then we also have the assembly rooms. Now here you can see again, we're looking at rooftops at the end of the view here. But like this, you've got wire work manufacturers. Okay, and as you come around the other side, so it's Smith Fletcher and I think it's Cull ironwork manufacturers. So if you look up, you'll see some of the old street signs and things, which is nice that they've not all disappeared. The old phone boxes. So Anchor Close, which is just over here, Anchor Close is another steep street. It takes its name from the Anchor Tavern, which was at the bottom of the close. As you can see, it goes down and down, then crosses over and disappears. But this is where the Encyclopedia Britannica was first published in 3 volumes. So yeah, and if you get the chance, look at the entrance to the closest, because you'll see these little plaques that give you little snippets of the history. So it's also where Robert Burns had his first edition of his poetry published. Of his Edinburgh poetry, sorry. Right. I'm just going to take you down to Stephen's Law Close. Now, in the Great Fire in 1824, from the church that you can see there, this section all the way up here was caught in the blaze. So, yeah, quite a lot of it's not that old, but, well, not that old for us. The basements are older and things, but Stephen's Law Close, the one I'm going to show you, there's a record of it on this site for at least 860 years. Now let's see if we just, oh no, please don't. I thought he was going to stand in front of the close there and I'm like, no. Right, so this is part of the World Heritage and the local community have sort of come together and they've illuminated 12 closes, because this close takes you all the way down into the Cowgate. So the purple at the bottom is the Cowgate, it's in the valley. We're probably not going to see a car going past, but this, before they put the illuminations in, was very, very dark and it was creepy. If you weren't used to it, visitors wouldn't use the close. So what they've done is they've cut out, you can see they've got the movement of the light as if birds are fluttering. Isn't that brilliant? It's just, I love this. I think that it does a really good job, because this now no longer is a scary prospect to walk through it, you know? Because your imagination takes over and you end up thinking, oh, there's going to be somebody horrible down there. So the street names are telling you stories. Who lived there? What was carried out there? Who was the main person or function of the close? Now here we have Flesh Market Close. A flesher is a butcher. So this is where the butcher and the abattoir were. When we started, we were up at the castle and I stopped at the mirror on the camera obscura and it had Skinner's Close. So originally the Skinners and the Fleshers were together and they were encouraged to move further and further down the hill, because it's both of them are smelly trades and they didn't want them up at the castle end of things. So as we look straight up, you can see the camera obscura lit up there, and just to the side of it is the castle. I know it's there, but it's too dark to see it. Well, the trouble with the old town is you have to use the alleyways because it's the ways to get from A to B. So the locals are actually really used to it. It's visitors, because places where they live you wouldn't do it because it would be dangerous, whereas here it's just life. So yeah. Now just ahead of us, that's the Tron, T-R-O-N. So the Tron was a weighing beam, like a giant set of public scales, and the church has been named after it. So the church has been here since the 1600s, but it was the last thing to burn, the steeple. They thought the fire had gone out in 1824, that they'd managed to control it, and unfortunately they hadn't. There were still embers in the air and it caught the steeple and burnt that down. So that steeple's 1828, but inside the church at the moment they have a market, and it's local artisans, so locally made products. A lot of the shops on the Royal Mile have a lot of mass-produced things, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's if you're looking for something special, it's worth having a little look in, because they're not all, they change every couple of weeks. There might be somebody new coming into it, so it's worth having a look at that. Okie dokie, Right, well, thank you for joining me on that little wander. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next one. Right, bye everyone.